Hello, class. Hello, 10th grade biology. Welcome, and thank you so much for all the great assignments. We're going to dig right into it here. Got a lot of notes for your final grades on 10th grade biology. Thanks so much for all the hard work, gang. You really nailed it. Unfortunately, got to grade you. So here goes. You're graded on 4 criteria: science, green thumb, integrity, and heart. Okay. So overall, by the way, none of you really made use of the lab partners, which I don't understand personally. I tried to make it easier for you. That was an out. That was a gimme. That was a helping hand, and most of you didn't use it. Also, a lot of vitriolic kind of backbiting type of stuff. Not part of biology, gang. All right, just leave your personal gripes amongst each other at home. And finally, there was a confusion over sapling versus seedling, and we might get into it, but the point is that I was trying to get you guys to plant a sapling, which is a more fully rooted tree and theoretically over 1 inch in diameter. So here goes. You're in the order in which you turned in the assignments. I'm just going to run through these little pros and cons. Ben turned in the assignment first. Ben, good green thumb. Your choice is made for the tree type and climate zone. All great. I can see this tree surviving. A little bit generic on the science initially, but that turned around, and you got into some good stuff. I really appreciated you taking us through the end stages more in depth than anyone else of what happens to the tree after death. It's, circle of life, if you will. You got into the Virginia Tech lab study, which I thought was great. Good use of research. You definitely did ample research. But if you conveyed it or not, that's another matter. Didn't really, little light on the metrics. You didn't do so much on the tree's carbon capture or, water use. Heartfelt grab at the end. Good work there. Cons wise, you're like I said, actually I already mentioned the little light on the scientific calculations or metrics, and I'm not sure why you lied about your lab partner being there physically in the same space, unless that was a comedy bit that was over my head. It seemed like you were trying to not have integrity there. Speaking of integrity, I had to try and verify that you guys were hitting your deadlines, as a good teacher does. And after reaching out to Ben, he fessed up that his tree was planted late. So it was about 2 or so hours after the deadline on Sunday at noon. So some demerits there for integrity. And then lastly, it was a long video, Ben, which isn't a problem. You're going to be long and interesting and long and, informative, but you kind of verged on plagiarism, where it seemed like you were just opening up the Wikipedia article on trees and reading it. So I'm worried that the learning might be a little bit light in that regard. Next up, Ryan turned in his assignment. Prose-wise, Ryan, very focused messaging, tight, concise, good storytelling, all great. Good use of science calculations, actually. I think this is where you really shone through. Carbon sequestration, I think you're the only one who went into that and calculated it. Future size predictions about your tree. Green thumb, actually also great on the green thumb, because I love that you were worried about the sun's path. You used the Sunseeker app, checked on the soil pH levels, which I believe Ben and Dave also did on the soil pH. But you really got into it, and the fact that you got into the garden chat community, that actually just made me happy. I'll be honest. It seemed like you might actually have a future in gardening or green thumb there, a real green thumb. Cons wise, didn't really take us through the full life cycle of the tree as much as I had hoped, especially on a biological level. You kind of just you got creative with the storytelling, which is fine, but didn't go into too much. In latter life, it turns into a bat that you beat up Dave Seeger with, or beat him to death with. So the scientific linkage was a little light there. Also, this is a very weird thing. I don't want to belabor it too much, but there's a rumor that Ryan actually killed his first tree. The sapling that you purchased was died in a hot car, which not, hey, science, it happens, things die, live and die. I get it. I'm a biology teacher. I get this. You think I haven't had kids die before on me? It happens all the time. The point is that you weren't honest with it. It would have been great. I would have loved it if you had said, I learned that my first tree was a failure. In fact, it would have been a more engaging story. And I learned this, but you didn't. If true, you covered it up. And so, again, I'm conflicted because it's, I received it through roundabout means, but I can't gloss over the fact. So David, next. Pros, great work on walking us through the life cycle of your tree, iCarly. In fact, I think it was probably the most complete in terms of life cycle from seed to snag, as I had hoped. Green thumb choices were all good. I can see it surviving in that park. You're the only student to plant an actual sapling, which was great. Another, pro. Cons-wise, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it was actually kind of subdued. That's not work. That's not a call. That's the principal. I'll call them back. Predictions, a little subdued creatively, which is surprising for Dave Seeger. I've had him in classes past. Predictions-wise, seem to resolve largely around, again, taking digs and snipes at other classmates, which is a distraction from the science. And very few of the scientific calculations. What I mean by that is you were it seemed like great research, knew quite a bit about the trees and the green thumbs, but it felt like, how do I put this? Right, you didn't so much write a biography on iCarly as you wrote what to expect when you're expecting to iCarly. And that's a slight difference, but it's to say you didn't really personalize your tree as much. You give it a fun name and everything, but it was like, this is what happens to trees, not this is what's going to happen to this tree. It's going to grow. I can see it. It's going to happen. All these things. It was more like, Ben, kind of like Ben in a sense. It was more generic, not personalized to your tree. Lastly, Ted, pros, very creative presentation, great video all around. I enjoyed how you made it a conversation of sorts between the tree, various ages, it's going to grow up to be. Great green thumb choices made in that tree could survive in that location. And the metrics for future predictions were decent. Also very heartfelt, possibly the most heartfelt, but heartfelt is not all that the grade is. Cons-wise, turned in the assignment late. I'm sorry, Ted. You were about 8 hours past the deadline for the biography. And then also, you planted the tree past the noon deadline on Saturday. What I believe, on Sunday at noon. Not only that, but then in your video, I believe you claim, as the tree's voice, I was born last Sunday. So I think you were trying to pass off the tree as having been planted 3 days prior, which it was not. So integrity-wise, taking some hits there. And then finally, you planted a seed, not a sapling, not a seedling. So I don't have high expectations unless you're really looking forward to watering this seed every day for the next several months to years till it sprouts. Not a good future analyses. So here we are, real quickly, final grades from highest to lowest. With the gold star, Ryan, with a 94, an A, Ryan gets the gold star. But by a nose, just slightly less, with a slightly less A, Dave Seeger gets a 93. Then last, that person who will not be joining us in the 11th grade, although I won't be there either, except, senior cross country, will be, unfortunately, the person not passing 10th grade is Ted. Ted, I'm sorry. You just missed the deadlines, and then also you're lacking on some of the metrics and the science, wise. So if it was a lot of flash, less so substance. So Ted with a 59 and Ben in third with an 81, a solid B. And that's it, gang. Thanks so much. Good luck to the three of you moving on into 11th grade. And you know what? Look on the bright side. Every one of you planted a tree that will, by all means, I'd imagine, are going to outlive us all. Trees live very long. So congratulations. Great work. Thanks so much. I'm Mr. S. See you guys later. Bye.